because I want to show you how through the power of the quest, each one of you can do your small bit or your big bit to change the world. Now, I want to share some really exciting news. I have just come back from a quest. It has been a successful one. It's been a very personal, a deeply personal quest. One that I have battled for the last 2 years, 3 months, and 11 nights. Let me explain. This is my little 2-year-old boy. And those of you with children, young children, will probably guess where I'm going with this. Because Leonardo is an angel when he's asleep. But unfortunately, over the past 2 years, 3 months, and 11 nights, Leonardo's quest has been to keep his parents awake. Rachel talks about scarcity of sleep. I know all about that. Haley, my wife, and I, we decided to wait fairly long to have our first child. We were both in our 40s when we had Leonardo. And in the UK, the National Health Service classifies people or parents over the age of 40 who are having children, they classify them as geriatric parents. Now, I have to be honest with you. 2 years ago, when Leo was first born, I didn't feel like a geriatric parent. But 2 years, 3 months, 11 nights later, I'm feeling a little bit frayed around the edges. I was in China working, and I went to a friend of mine came up to me and said, "How's the jet lag?" And I said to him, "I don't get jet lag anymore. I have baby lag, and jet lag has nothing on baby lag." But then, the most amazing thing happened. I arrived in Cyprus 2 nights ago, and I decided to bring my family with me. It's the first time we've been to Cyprus. And you know what? The first night, Leo slept peacefully through the entire evening. I thought it might be a fluke. I climbed into bed the second last night, and again, he slept peacefully through the evening. I don't know what it is. Is there something that you have in the Cyprus, in the water, in the air? Is it in the food that you have? Whatever it is, bottle it and sell it to parents around the world. They will pay a fortune for a good night's sleep. But quests can be very personal. They can also be very professional. They can be big. They can be small. My research looking at quests, and since the dawn of civilization, leaders on quests have changed the world. Quests are the driving force propelling humanity forward. From the building of the Great Pyramids, to circumnavigating the globe, to going to the moon, bold leaders have ventured out into the unknown, challenged the impossible, and hopefully returned successful with new knowledge, riches, and rewards. I predict that the 21st century will be called the age of quests. We are going to see leaders embarking on quests which are going to blow us away in wonderment. Not since the age of discovery do I believe that new pioneering frontiers have been opened in the areas of science, engineering, health, education, and space travel. We are going to see amazing things this century. They're going to dwarf the last 200 years. And as we move into this age of quests, there is a new type of leader, a new breed of leader who is on the rise. A leader who I call the quester. Questers are leaders who don't look at the world and say, how can I take an existing product and improve it slightly? How can I develop a better marketing campaign to push you more products? Questers look at the world and they say, where is it broken? And how can I fix it? Questers put changing the world first, well before profit. Questers recognize that making a profit is an outcome of making the world a better place. Profit is the result, not the goal. The goal is to fix the world. Now, the leaders the questers on this screen are the superstar questers who we read and talk about every day. But they have a secret, and let me tell you what their secret is. This is what they've recognized and what they've learned. Today, because of unparalleled access to the technology that we have, the democratization of information and social media, anyone can go on a quest to change the world. But sadly, the majority of leaders never embark on world-changing quests. Maybe as a child, you dreamt about being an astronaut or a knight on a nightly quest. But as we get older, our dreams get pushed away. They get squashed. And we begin to believe that quests are just for the special few. Maybe the rich billionaires or people with influence, kings, queens, and nobility. Now, this may have been true in the past, but it is certainly not true today, and it is certainly not true going into the future. Because of the technology that we have today, the growing real time of information and social media, any one of you can go on a quest to change your world. This is Paul Cummings, and he's a ceramic artist who lives in the UK. And he came across a poem that had been written by a soldier who died in the First World War. And he was captivated by this line: "The blood-swept lands and seas of red, where angels fear to tread." And out of this poem came his inspiration to design and create an individual poppy for every single British and British Commonwealth soldier who died during the Great War. I have one of these poppies here. Each one of these beautiful poppies was hand-created. Paul wanted to respect the lives of these fallen heroes. And each one of them is hand-cut out of big blocks of clay. They used techniques last used 100 years ago that would have been available during the First World War. So big rollers rolled out the clay. Paul wanted every single poppy to be as unique as the lives of those fallen heroes. There was no way that these poppies could be sent to China or anywhere for mass production. My wife and I bought one of these poppies because we wanted to, in memory and in honor of her great uncle who died at the Battle of Somme. And these poppies represent, each individual poppy represents a life that was lost. Now, think about Paul's quest. He is a ceramic artist. He's working on his own. He doesn't really work with other people. And yet he has this quest to create and design 888,246 poppies. And he has to do it within 4 months. That's crazy. It's impossible. You're not going to be able to achieve this kind of quest. But because of social media and a changing world, he was able to inspire people. 23,000 volunteers stepped forward to help Paul. Some worked in his factory, some planted the poppies in the moat around the Tower of London. That is the power of the quest. The quest can change the world, even if you are just one person. I first became aware of the power of the quest in my country of birth, in South Africa, in 1993. Over the Easter weekend, Chris Hani, the leader of the South African Communist Party, a charismatic freedom fighter, was assassinated. I remember reading the news and being shocked and angered and saddened by this tragic loss. My country, South Africa, was fragile at that time. We were staring into the abyss of a civil war. On the day of Chris Hani's funeral, I joined tens of thousands of mourners marching. We stormed through the streets of Johannesburg with our arms raised high and our fists clenched, shouting, "Amandla, Awetu, power to the people." We wanted to show the killers that they could not kill freedom. They could not kill our dream of a better South Africa. Now, part of the reason why South Africa never ended in a civil war, much the one we are seeing in Syria today, is because of the amazing leadership skills of Nelson Mandela. But people talk about the miracle of South Africa. And the miracle of South Africa was being driven by Nelson Mandela's stated quest for a democratic and free South Africa. It's a quest that inspired millions of people to choose democracy over civil war. Valor, in his TED talk, talks about how humans rule the world today because of our ability to believe in objective realities as well as fictional realities. Objective realities are the things we see around us, the buildings, the houses, the rivers, the trees, mountains. Fictional realities are our dreams, our inspirations. And he tells a great story of a chimpanzee. He says, you can't go up to a chimpanzee and say, "Give me all of your bananas, and you will go to chimpanzee heaven." The monkey will look at you and go, "You are crazy. Go and get your own bananas." But because people can believe in fictional reality, we are able to collectively come together, be inspired to achieve amazing things like going on a crusade, building a cathedral, or going to the moon. This is what I do for a living. I call myself an intellectual adventurer. I look into the future, and I look at businesses, and I look at business models, and I look at industries, and I take them apart, and I figure out what is changing and what's going to be successful going into the future. And the leadership quest is one that has inspired me to look at, is there a model, is there a framework which leaders today can use to embark on their own quest, whether it's a big quest or a small quest or a personal or a professional quest. What I've identified is there are three qualities of a quest. The first quality is you are challenging the impossible. You are doing crazy, impossible things. Nelson Mandela said, "It is only impossible until somebody has done it." The second quality is you are delivering meaningful benefits. And the third quality is you have a very clear destination. Paul Cummings' destination was to design and create 888,246 puppies to be planted in the moat around the Tower of London. You can't get more specific than that. And these destinations are inspirational to the people who join you on your quest. Perhaps I can summarize what I'm saying in this last slide. In 1989, I was a student studying for a law and economics degree. And Dead Poets Society was a film that I saw which had a huge impact on me. It's one of the reasons why I call myself a chief exploration officer. And Robin Williams is acting as Mr. Keating, an English school teacher. And during the one class, he stands up on a table and he looks down at his students. And he says to them, "Why do I stand up here?" And one of the students at the back of the class, there's always a student at the back of the class, who shouts out and says, "To make yourself feel taller, sir." Mr. Keating smiles and says, "No, but thank you for playing, Mr. Dalton. I stand up here to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way. You see, the world looks very different from up here. And just when you think you know something, You have to look at it in another way. Even though it may seem silly or wrong, you must try. Thoreau said, most men live lives of quiet desperation. Don't be resigned to that. Dare to break out. Dare to strike out and find new ground. I love those last 3 lines. Don't live a life of quiet desperation. Find your quest. Go on your quest, whether it is a big quest, a small quest, a personal quest, or professional quest. Find the impossible. Deliver a meaningful benefit. Dare to strike out and do the impossible. Questing is about changing the way we do business. It's about putting meaningful benefits ahead of profits. It's about striving to achieve the impossible. It's about looking at our world systems and fixing what is wrong. It's about having a clear destination that inspires people to get behind you, to empowers them to make the changes that are necessary. And questing really starts with you. Now, I hope that you are inspired to go out on your own world-changing quest. I know that I'm going to be going home, and hopefully Leo will be sleeping soundly again tonight. If he doesn't, I'm moving to Cyprus. Thank you very much.